Hey YouTube, welcome back. If you're a fan of satellites or you like hunting exotic satellite signals, Christmas has come early for you and me because we have a tool release, everybody. And if we just scroll down here, it's called Don't Look Up. If we just scroll down here, and I'll just read out the title, IP Encapsulation Parser from raw dvb-s captures. Now what does all that mean? TV satellites, as people know them are out in geostationary orbit. And people call them TV satellites because TV is transmitted over them. On a modern geostationary communication satellite, only maybe a few percent of the total capacity of these things floating out in space are actually used for TV. Majority of the capacity is used for voice and data. And that is exactly what this tool is going to allow us to do. So it's broken into the mainstream, so it's been reported on the RTL-SDR blog website, and there's also a video being made about it by Save It for Parts. I can't remember this guy's name, unfortunately, but yeah, cool channel. Go check him out. And I'll just have to take this opportunity to do a little bit of flexing, because although this is broken into the mainstream, we've been doing this for years on my channel, haven't we? If you're into the satellite, been following the satellite stuff I've been doing on my channel, this is all old news to us. We've been doing this stuff for a while now, a few years at this point. But we're using a different application called Extract. But this new tool is the absolute motherlode of decoding satellites. It's going to perform way better than Extract. So, and yeah, this is the scientific paper if you guys want to go and check that out. Yeah, very interesting read. And let's talk about the hardware you're going to need now. So we're going to be basically emulating the setup that the research team used, because I actually have one of these satellite receivers here called a TBS5927. It's a USB attached satellite TV tuner, and it's very, very good, very high performing, can lock onto and receive some of the more exotic type of data transponders on a satellite. So yeah, that's why the research team used that. The next thing you're going to need is a satellite dish. So this is me looking very happy with the new purchase, but we're not using this big dish here. We're actually using my 90 centimeter dish, and that's got a motor on it, so I can actually point it and position it at different satellites in the sky by sending it commands through the satellite TV receiver, so that's pretty cool. And the next thing you're going to need is a universal LMB. So if you don't know what the LMB is, it's this thing here, and that's the thing that actually receives the radio waves after they bounce off the satellite dish here. They're focused and concentrated on this thing, and then they're sent indoors to the receiver via coaxial cable. So this is the exact coaxial cable I'm using. Hills Antenna is an Australian company, but this is just, I believe it's RG6 75 ohm coaxial cable. And I think I'm running like 25 or 30 meters out to my garden where the dishes are located. So yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I should probably say that I'm using specifically the GM202 Plus LMB from Golden Media. So yeah, that's everything. A brief overview of what we're doing today. So if you guys want to have a look at stuff more in depth about how you actually set up the hardware and software of a PC satellite receiving setup, you can go and check these two videos out here. Satellite TV Explained, or TBS5927 Part 1 and Part 2 there. So yeah, I go very in depth into exactly what you'll need to get into satellite TV on computer. So cool, let's, I forgot to mention, it's after midday, so I've got my video recording beer here, so I'm going to have a sip. I'm going to minimize my browser now. And I think I should just mention that I'm trying to make this as accessible as possible to people. So we're actually doing this in a virtual machine, and because the TBS5927 is a USB attached peripheral, we can actually use USB pass-through in VMware and actually use a USB device on the virtual machine. So yeah, making it as accessible as possible for you guys. So, all right, this is going to be a long video too, guys. So if you have trouble focusing on videos longer than 20 seconds, like on TikTok, this video ain't for you, Chief, okay? So settle in, grab a beer, grab a drink, grab something to eat, and let's decode some exotic data from satellites, shall we? So First thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna double check that I've got my TBS5927 plugged in and it is being picked up by LS USB. So that's a good sign. So the first thing we're gonna do is we need to install the TBS5927 drivers and we need to patch them to receive raw satellite data. So normally satellite software has its own internal software filtering and that won't allow us to receive these exotic signals, if that makes sense. Okay, so we need to patch the TBS5927 drivers for raw data handling and use no software internal filtering. Okay, so we need to install some dependencies first. So I'll just copy and paste that command. I'll hit enter. And then the next command we're going to run is this one here. We're actually going to clone the driver files, and then we will build them. Okay, so that finished successfully. So yeah, like I said before, we're going to actually download the driver build files. And there's also another Git that we need to clone again. So yeah, again, if you guys, this will take a little while too. So if you guys, if you're new here because you've heard about this awesome tool and you want to get into satellite stuff, I always put the commands I'm running in the pinned comment and the description, right? So this is if you guys are following along with me, instead of you having to pause the video and painstakingly transcribe the commands I'm running, I put them in the description and the pinned comment so you guys can just copy and paste with me, okay? I wish a lot of other people did that on the internet when they're making tutorial videos about Linux. Because yeah, some of these commands can get pretty long. So yeah, the next command we're going to be running is this one here. So this is the actual patch file from the research team that actually patches the official TBS drivers, or patches the Linux drivers for the 5927 to receive raw data instead of using filtering they use filtering, the internal software filtering for watching TV and stuff. I'm led to believe. So we're not going to be watching TV. We're actually going to be receiving exotic data transponders. So we need to patch out that functionality of using filtering. So that's what we're doing now. So I'm going to run this command to actually get the patch file, and you'll see that appear in our file browser there, file manager. So yeah, the next command we're going to run is we're going to cd into the a directory that we need to be inside the driver files. We're going to actually apply the patch to the drivers. So I hit enter on that. Just to confirm that we have actually patched the file, I'll just run git diff command. And we can see here that we have this line in green here saying dvb-USB receives raw payload. So that is excellent. That's exactly what we want. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're actually going to build the drivers now, or initialize the build process. Just hit Control-Z to exit the diff command. So we cd into the media build directory. That's here in our home directory. So these two files are the actual drivers themselves. We run this command here. And then we run make all yes config. Okay, and yeah, just make sure when you're running all these commands, you're inspecting your terminal output for errors. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention before, I'm actually using Dragon OS Focal X R37. So you should be, if you're using that operating system in a virtual machine, you should be able to follow along with me verbatim, command for command. So, forgot to mention that before. So, now we need to, so now that we've built some build files now, we'll just double check that we do have this raw payload in another file that was built after we ran that make all yes command, so that's good. So this is an indication that we're going to build the drivers and they're definitely going to be patched. And a lot of these commands are just literally copy and pasted from the TBS Wikipedia on their GitHub page. So yeah, that's just what I'm doing now. Okay, we'll just work through my list here. All right, so this one's going to take a while. So this is the actual final build command. So yeah, I'm just going to turn the microphone off and turn my camera off, and yeah, I'll speed up the video in post-production. See you shortly. Okay, everybody, that seemed to have finished successfully. Yeah, again, I'll just reiterate, make sure you're looking for any signs of errors when you're running all these commands too. So, okay, next command we need to do is actually install the drivers now. So I'm just going to hit enter on that command. I can't remember how long this one takes. If it does take too long, I'll just speed it up. Okay, cool. So yeah, again, everything seemed to have worked successfully, so that's good. Yeah, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to CD back to our home directory now, and then we need to install the firmware for the satellite TV receivers on PC. So we just hit enter on that command. I think when you connect all these devices to a computer, it fetches a firmware file. I'm guessing that firmware is like the FPGA image or something like that. I don't really know how all this stuff works. That's just my guess. And then, yeah, then we just run this command to extract the firmware to where it needs to be. And then we reboot our computer. So I'm just going to run the command sudo reboot. And yeah, I'm using VNC to interface with this virtual machine. So yeah, we'll just sit tight and wait for it to reboot. Okay, we're back. So yeah, I'll just run this command again to make sure that my TBS5927 is attached to the virtual machine, which it is, so that's great. So yeah, where do we leave off? So we're all the way down here now. So this is the penultimate command that will tell us and give us an indication if the driver's installed successfully. So if you have nothing showing up for this command, something's gone terribly wrong for you, unfortunately. So yeah, if I run this, what you're looking for is front end 0, okay? If none of this shows up, then yeah, you've got issues, unfortunately. So yeah. But yeah, we're all good so far. So that is the first part of the tutorial. I'm unsure if I'm going to split this up into multiple parts, but just in case I do split it up into multiple parts, I'll just say thanks for watching and I'll see you in part 2. Hey guys, welcome back. So we're in a potential part 2 of this video now. We're installing the satellite TV decoding application called DontLookUp. Go and watch part 1 for instructions on how to patch and install the drivers for a TBS5927 USB satellite receiver. And the next thing we need to do now is we need to we need to download and install an application that will allow us to lock onto a exotic data transponder on a satellite with our USB satellite receiver and actually record data to a transport stream file, so a .ts file. And the application we're going to be using for that is called dvb-v5 zap, and that is inside the dvb tools Debian package. So we're just going to run this command. And yeah, this application utilizes a file called channels.conf, and that's a configuration file that has the things like the frequency, the symbol rate, and the polarization, horizontal or vertical. in it. So we'll just create the file first. And as you can see here, I'm not telling you what satellite this is going to be on because I don't want people to use my tutorial to do anything naughty. But I have my dish currently pointed at a satellite. And on this transponder here, we have data on it, okay? So we're going to open our channels.conf file. I'm going to put that up there. And then I'm going to paste this here. So I guess I should take this opportunity to detail exactly what's going on in this config file here. So up here is the name, right? So I've named it. This is a common naming convention for satellite transponders, right? So we've got the frequency there, which is 11.591 gigahertz. The polarization is V for vertical, right? So satellite TV transponders can be polarized in either vertical or horizontal polarization. Okay. And then this here is the symbol rate. So the symbol rate is kind of like the bandwidth of the signal, right? It's not exactly, so like just say you have 3,000 symbols, it's not exactly 3 megahertz, but it's somewhere around there, right? So we've got a symbol rate of 3,749. So it might be about 3.5 to 4 megahertz in bandwidth, right? So that's actual signal as it's getting transmitted back to Earth. It's occupying 4 megahertz of the spectrum, okay? And yeah, so that's the naming convention. And then, yeah, we've basically just got a couple of fields here. Delivery system is dvb-s2. It's always dvb-s2. Yeah, and we're just specifying the frequency, the symbol rate, and the polarization there. So I'm going to hit save on that. So yeah, you could put multiple transponders in this list, right? So you could put every single data transponder you know of in this file here, or this file here, and yeah, you basically just specify the name that you are targeting when you run the command to capture. So yeah, that's very cool. So we're finished with this now. I'm going to close that. And then this is the actual command, which is going to capture real satellite data to a file. And it's raw data too, remember, because we patched the TBS5927 drivers. So I'll explain the command. So we address the binary. We've got the name of the transponder. Remember, this is how I name my transponders, right? Frequency, polarization, and symbol rate. So in the command, we're addressing that. The name of the channel. We've got the C argument, and we're addressing the channel, the location of the channels.conf file. That's just in my home directory there. We're using an LNB of the universal type, okay? And then we've got O argument for outputting the file to our home directory with a file name of dump.ts. And then this last one here, M, is very, very important. If you do not put the M argument, this is not going to work and you're not going to capture anything, okay? So we just run that command there, and this will take a moment to sort itself out and start capturing. There we go. We have data. If I just move this over here, you will see that the file size is growing. So that means we are getting data. So that is excellent. All right, we can just leave that alone for a little while, guys, because, you know, we might capture maybe 10 megabytes or so in the time it takes to do this next part. So we'll just leave that running in the background. And then I'll scroll down on my command text document here. Hope you guys can see all this too. I had to play around with the font sizes so you guys can see. So I'm going to put this up here now. And I'm going to turn my attention to terminal window number 2. We're going to actually fetch the DontLookUp program files now. So we use the git clone command to download the program files into our home directory here. And you can see that that is done. We're going to cd into the DontLookUp folder. Now we need to install some dependencies, so you guys can copy and paste this command. These will install all the dependencies required by the application. They're just Python packages. We need to make the Python script executable. So I just run this command here. And then we can just run the binary directly with the H argument and just see like the configurable options that we've got going on here. So you can see here that there's like a number of passes available. So I'm just giving you guys enough to get started, okay, with this application. I'm not going to go through all of these, and because the parser actually takes quite a long time on this computer. This computer's getting a bit old at this point, and it's using CPUs from about 2016. So when you're trying to parse data with Python, it takes way too long. So I'm just going to showcase this one, and this is probably the feature that is going to bear the most fruit, in my opinion. So yeah, I've got a command for you guys right here. And this is just gonna yeah, like I said before, this is just gonna get the bare minimum for you guys to get started, and then you guys can go and have a play around later on. So I've got no more commands left, so we're gonna get rid of my commands, and we're just gonna leave this running because that's not gonna hurt anything. So we've already captured 5.7 megabytes. So let's run this command here. So we're addressing the binary. I'm actually sorry, I actually made a mistake there. I'm not going to use all for the passes. I'm actually going to modify that. So P is the parser type, right? And then I've got a couple of V arguments here, and this just specifies the verbosity level, which is 3. That's the highest level. That's going to show us absolutely everything. And then, yeah, we're just addressing the location and the file name of our transport stream file there, which is actively getting data downloaded to it from our satellite. So that's very cool. So I'm going to run this. And then if all goes to plan, we have active parsing happening, which video is going great. Something is surely going to go wrong very soon. I can feel it. So if we go to DontLookUp program folder and we go to output, that is where all the output files are getting written to. So we can see here that we've actually got a number of files getting written, and they're all growing in size. But the one we care about is the PCAP file. Okay, so what's going on here is I'm led to believe there's some kind of like brute forcing going on by this application, and it's just looking for just any sign of IP headers. And if it sees an IP header, it'll just grab it and then dump the whole packet into a PCAP file for us. That's what I'm led to believe. But yeah, you guys can go and read that research paper for more information on how all that works. So yeah, we'll just leave this parser running for a while. And yeah, I might, got a couple of minutes, so I might just turn the camera off and turn the microphone off. And I'll see you guys shortly when the parsing is done. Bye. Okay, guys, so I'm back. And yeah, you can see here we've got some stats about exactly what the parser did just then. We've got baseband frames. Okay, so they're like the layer 2 frames, which make up a data transponder on a satellite. And we've got 10,000 IP packets found. So that is excellent. So all those IP packets are located in this PCAP file, which is inside the output folder of DontLookUp. Okay, so we're just going to double click this and open it. So I'm going to have to blur all this out because this is actually private internet traffic, and I have no intention of looking at any of this. Okay, I'm just demonstrating this very, very cool tool that has been released for the community, open source Linux tool for education and experimentation purposes only. Okay, you should never ever deploy this to intercept private satellite IP data, okay? Don't do it. It's not worth it, okay? If you're a satellite user, satellite internet user more specifically, you can use this tool to audit your internet service provider's security, okay? Don't do this stuff for fun. I just do this stuff because I like satellites, and then I'm just making this video and I'm just going to delete everything because I'm not interested in intercepting private data from people that are not myself. If the data originated from or was intended for me, I would definitely audit the security, but because it's not for me. I'm not looking at this. So I'm going to close the tab and I'm going to delete that file. Okay. Actually, I'm going to delete everything. And we'll delete the dump.transport stream file. Actually, I've got to quit this. And then I delete that. And then everything's going in the trash. And then the trash is being emptied. Okay. So that's it. That's Don't Look Up, everybody. What a cool tool, man. Yeah, thanks very much to the research team for their hard work. GSE extract was a little bit limited in its capacity, but I'm led to believe that this new application can just pass everything. A lot of stuff from exotic data transponders on a satellite. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that video and hope you learned something today. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.